just start the recording. So welcome everybody. Welcome to Heart Song Podcast. We are still doing Enlightenment this week, and this is the fourth time we are talking about Enlightenment. And today is November the 27th, 2025. So let me share screen. Okay, go back to this one here. I've done the announcements, and so now let's go to so we're talking about enlightenment, and enlightenment in the chematic scheme of things. There are 7 levels. Like enlightenment, there are levels. It's just that different schools of thought may have different levels. So in chematic, we have 7 tiers. And each tier kind of gets you deeper, or I should say gets you lighter. Because as we get more, as our enlightenment and consciousness grow, we are actually going back to being closer to our spiritual, I would say the origin of our soul, the purity of our soul. Because when we, as a soul, we come down to earth or come down to this playground to have a human experience. And in order to do that, we actually have to take on a lot of programs. We have to distort our pure form a lot in order to be able to hold a form, have an experience as a human being in this playground. And the point now is that we are going back. So we've come all the way down to being a human being to experience this. And then we are starting to dissolve the layers that we have put ourselves through so that we can go closer and closer and back into our pure spiritual form. And that is what enlightenment really is we are reversing that what we've done to become human. We are going back to being oneness, or just being, because that's who we are before we come here. So we've gone through these a couple of times, so I'm not going to talk about what each of the tiers are. I just want to revisit this here. This is about, what gets you to each tier, what does each tier is. And I actually just want to talk about like the first few tiers, because once you kind of get through to tier 3 or maybe tier 4, then you don't really need any other guidance, because even in tier 3, you would start to be like your soul is already very, I would say, coherent enough to bring yourself through the rest of the tiers. So actually the most the hardest work is really to get yourself into tier 1, and then from tier 1 to tier 2, and then tier 3 is another jump. But after tier 3 is actually the rest of the tiers are much easier, meaning that you don't have to do as much, because by then your soul would have been so coherent that the rest of the journey will not seem like it is work anymore. It will be just natural, because you're just becoming more and more of yourself. So we talked about tier 1 and how to get to tier 2. This week I want to at first just talk about how to get into tier 3. Getting into tier 3 from tier 2, of course. Now we can visit each of these tiers, but the visiting is not the same as being stable in that tier. So this is what I mean by getting to tier 3, is being how to stabilize yourself in this tier. So hallmark of tier 3 is great vision access. What do I mean by great vision access? In tier 2, you would actually start to know what's coming up for yourself. So just for yourself. In tier 2, even though in tier 2, your soul is not too stable yet, you still have doubts and a bit of fear that's interfering you, but you would start to have some idea what is going on for yourself and what's the next step for yourself. Whereas in tier 3, great vision, meaning that you have visions that's not just for you, but for everyone else. And also you would start to understand how you and the rest of the humanity relate to each other. So this is the big step in tier 3 is that you start to get out of yourself or of the little me and start to get into your relationship with the rest of this environment. So that is what great vision access, meaning that you don't just get you don't just know what is for yourself, you actually know what is best for all of society as well. And that actually makes it easier for you to start doing things and taking action that is going to change, starting to change or affect your environment. So this is the hallmark of tier 3 is you start to get the bigger vision. You have access to that. So what do we need to do in order to get that? How to stabilize in tier 3? Well, because we are starting to get visions, not just for ourselves, but for all of the people around us, for society, for a bigger group. So, of course, the first thing is you have to dissolve your personal agenda. If you are still just, trying to make sure that, you take care of yourself first, then it is going to affect the kind of vision that you have access to because it's the your consciousness is actually very it is self-regulated. If you are a very selfish person and everything you're trying to do is to get yourself further ahead, then you may only see some things, other things that is going to affect other people as well. You Even if you are able to see it, the version you see may not be the version that is the most probable because your own consciousness kind of is skewed in a way that will not allow you to get the access to that. So that's why one of the things that you really need to do is to look beyond just yourself. So the more you can resonate with with oneness, then you are kind of starting to dissolve your own personal agenda. And you can do that by activating tier 3 regularly. So this is what I mean by you can visit tier 3. So the more you visit it, the more you visit a tier, the more you start to the energy of that tier starts to move out things that does not align. So within your energy field, the more you visit tier 3, then the tier 3 resonance is going to assist you in releasing the misalignments that you have that are not aligning with tier 3. So activating tier 3, so to activate a tier, you have to activate your orb and then connect to the tier and then do the coherence activate. So those three. So do that activation regularly, meaning as much as you can, as much as you remember, you activate that. So when you are in that the resonance of that tier, then whatever it is that does not resonate with the tier will start to get pushed out. The other things that you can do is to do USF, those the Unified Soul Field, and to do one soul field. More important is one soul field, because one soul field will really assist you in getting rid or starting to dissolve the personal agenda. So just activating these two regularly. How much is regularly? It really depends on how far you are from that. The further you are, I would say the more you need to activate these. So I would suggest at least once a day. And if you remember to do it more than once a day, then that's even better. And the other thing is to activate your sixth eye, because your sixth eye really allow you to see vision. So activating your sixth eye is going to make it easier for you to have access to the visions. And then also activating one. One is really about getting back to oneness. So activating one, so one activate, and then just allow yourself to integrate that more in your own consciousness. So these things is going to working together is going to assist you in getting to tier 3. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Go ahead.
So one soul field and one, it's not the same?
It's not the same. So one soul field is a field, whereas one is you're just resonating in that oneness yourself. You're not creating a field. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, great. So any other questions? Comments before I go on?
How can we do that quickly daily? Do just say active. Do we have a, a method to do that? Just like we do sit down and practice like pure energy activate, pure source activate, whatever that flow to do that.
Which one in specific are you talking about?
Just as active this, active that, active that. Can we have like we have a sheet, we sit down and we do this. Yeah, we do that together twice per week. That's good, but daily we need to do it ourselves. Do we have a sheet like we can just follow that, do that?
Oh, she's looking for a method how we activate tier 1, tier 2, and like 39-inch activate, pure soul activate, and then she wanted to know if there's any formula just for only the tier. Oh, there it is.
Yep. How to get to any tier.
Uh-huh, okay.
Okay, so orb activate. So activating your orb is kind of like activating your soul. And then tier 1 or tier 3 or tier whatever tier you want. So tier, let's say tier 3. Tier 3 connect, activate.
Okay.
And then coherence activate.
Okay.
Okay, so that would get you to any tier.
I see.
Any tier you want.
Okay.
So
We
do we have to clear the connected to tier 1 first, then 2, and then 3, or can you just go to tier 3 activate?
No, this one you can just go to any tier. You
Oh,
don't have
okay.
to go consecutively.
Mhm.
If you want to
Thanks.
go to tier 7, you can go to tier 7 directly. You don't have to go through 1 to 6.
Mhm.
Now, how long can you stay there? That's that's a different that's a different that's a different thing. I would say the more you are, I would, if you want to get to the higher tiers, do some meditation first. At the
Mhm.
very least, do some meditation first, because that would calm down your mind. Okay. So that when you get to, let's say, tier 6 or tier 7, you you can stay there longer.
Mhm.
okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, welcome. Okay. So now let's change gear now. So what I want to talk about is that, so you guys know how to get to any tiers, and you know how to stabilize yourself in tier 1, 2, and then we talked about tier 3 today. So now let's just talk about, besides using the tiers as expanding your consciousness, what can we do with the tiers? How is knowing these 7 tiers going to assist us? So you can actually use the tiers for healing. Okay. So what kind of healing can each of the tier do? Let's take a look at it. So because tier 1 is about soul coherence. It's when your soul is coherent enough. So, which means that any symptoms that's relating to being overwhelmed or stressed, so those would be good for tier 1. So if you have stress, or if you all of a sudden you feel overwhelmed, then activate tier 1. So just connect to tier 1, and that will immediately assist you in letting go of the stress, because coherence is getting all the parts together. So that is going to, when all the parts is in harmony, you will feel less stress. You will be stressed only because there is conflict. You want to do this and you want to do that as well. So it conflicts. Whereas if you activate tier 1, you have coherence, then it's very easy to get rid of stress or overwhelm. Okay. So for fear, guilt, and shame, those kind of state, if you all of a sudden fear comes up really intensely for you, you don't quite know what to do, you can connect to tier 2, which is purified alignment. You're more aligned. So fear comes from misalignments. And so when you activate tier 2, then you'll be more aligned. Alignment meaning alignment with your soul. So when you are more aligned, then all these emotions will start to fade out. So these are the things that tier 2 can help with. So tier 3 is the great vision access. So symptoms that can help is confusion, indecision, lack of direction. If you feel any of these, then activate tier 3. Because when you can see the bigger picture, then confusion, indecision, lack of direction, those things will start to come off. Tier 4. At tier 4, you are soul instrument. So the symptoms that this is good for is burnout or compassion fatigue, meaning that, you just give of yourself. You're being too compassionate to everyone else. You have no regard for your own comfort, and you get to the point where you just have nothing to give anymore. Then do the tier 4, because when you're in tier 4, you are your soul. You're working as your soul. You're not working from your personality. So when you work from your soul, then you don't feel drained anymore. You feel drained only because you are just working from your ego, and your ego is very good at getting you to run in circles. So tier 4 is going to help with burnout or compassion fatigue. Infinite coherence. What is tier 5 good for? Deep inner emptiness, longing for infinity. So when you feel empty, no matter how much you try to, so no matter how much you try to go within, you just feel like it's empty. Or all of a sudden you feel like you just not yourself. Then infinite coherence. Because when you are in union, so tier 5 is infinite coherence. So you have unshakable union with infinite soul presence. Who feels empty? It is really the ego that feels empty. So tier 5 is going to be good for these. Tier 6, law carrier. So when you are experiencing some heavy karmic patterns or suffering from the effects of generational wounds, then tier 6 is going to help. So tier 6 allows the soul to align with higher laws, dissolving karmic entanglement. So this is what tier 6 is good for. And then tier 7, one embodied. If you have identity crisis, loss of meaning in life, or you're just feeling you just don't feel like you want to be alive anymore, just being alive is painful, then tier 7. Only union with one resolve the deepest soul questions. So this is what each of the tier is good for. Okay. In terms of healing. So how do you actually do the healing? So it depends on whether you're doing it for yourself or for someone else. If it is for yourself, then you activate that tier that matches the type of healing that you need. For example, if you have some ancestral issues coming up, ancestral pain, then activate tier, I think, tier 6 or even tier 5. It's going to assist you. So just activate that tier and you just allow the energies from the tears to dissolve whatever it is that you feel stuck in. If you're doing it for someone else, if someone else is having issues with their lineage issues, then what you do is you anchor in the tier yourself. So let's say if it's tier 6 again, so you activate tier 6 for yourself and you just sit close to the client and let your own energy field do the healing for your client. Okay. Any questions before we go further? How to use the tears for healing?
Yes, I have a question.
Yep.
Winnie, if you do it for your family, is it the same as you do it for yourself because it's the same blood line?
I would say no, because yes, you have the same bloodline, but as you know, each family member is very different. We come here with different purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there are some similarities, there are still enough, I would say, enough variance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay. So next I want to talk about is, so we just talked about how to use the tears in healing. So how can we make use of the tears outside of healing? What can we use it for in our daily lives? So this is a suggestion of how to use it in your daily lives. So soul coherence would be something that is good to activate during the start of the day, because when your soul is coherent at the start of the day, it just sets the tone for the rest of the day to be more calm, and so use tier 1. So activate tier 1 at the start of the day. And also if you want to stay balanced at work, keeps you centered, reduces distraction, and brings calm focus. So this is what we suggest, is to activate tier 1 at the start of your day or start of your work day. Tier 2 is about purified alignment. So before you make any choice, before you start to make any choice, let's say you want to choose something, or let's say choose whether you should go to this party or not, something like that. So when you're making a choice, then activate tier 2 before you make a choice. Why? Because tier 2 start to anchor you in your soul's truth. So when you have your soul's truth anchored in, you're making choices more from your soul's point of view rather than, from your ego's point of view. So that the choices that you make is going to be better for your soul when you activate tier 2 first before you make a choice. So how to use tier 3? Let's say if you're doing some planning for next year, this is end of 2025, if you want to do some planning for yourself, or do some planning for yourself, Then if you want to do some planning, setting goals, then activate tier 3, because tier 3 allows you to see the bigger picture. So what is tier 4 good for? Let's say if you are trying to mentor somebody, or if you are teaching something, or if you are leading, if you want to lead a group, then activate tier 4 first. Because tier 4 actually allows you to be your soul's instrument. So when you do that, it actually makes everything run smoother. So even when you're trying to teach or lead, when you are flowing with your soul, everything just makes it easier. When you're giving advice, when you are giving suggestion as a leader, then all this is going to, tier 4 is going to make this becomes easier. It won't be as much hard work. So tier 5 is good to activate when you are trying to create something, like especially something that is important and meaningful. So deep creativity, or if you want to do some meditation, or if you want to just connect with the infinite, then activate tier 5 first. It will make all of these activities much easier. If you want to guide somebody else, if you want to build systems, or if you want to be in a position of authority, then activate tier 6, because tier 6 is the law carrier. The law carrier means you just have natural authority. And it's not just natural authority from the ego's point of view, it is really natural authority with higher principles. It just makes it easier for other people to listen to you. And when you activate tier 6 to build systems, you just have more long-term all built into it. So tier 7. If you want to be fully so embodied in life, if you want to be better at relationships, you want to be more on purpose, then activate tier 7. So this is how you can use the different tiers in your daily lives. Whatever it is that you try to do in your day, if you just activate the tier that is most resonating with that activity, is going to make it much easier for you to just be focused in that activity. Questions, suggestions, comments? It's all good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Can you show how we can how we can heal ourselves with tears? I want to make picture.
You were talking about this one?
No, previous, I think. Previous one.
This one?
No. how you can heal yourself with tears.
Oh, heal yourself with tears.
Yeah,
Okay, this.
yeah, this one.
Yeah. So activate the tear that matches the type of healing you want. That's all. Just activate the tear and then just give yourself some time to allow the energies of the tear to work through your issues.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Then that kind of brings us to the meditation or release for this evening. So I'm going to, last week we did the first one, truth. So 12 primary emotional truths of the fourth dimension. So within the fourth dimension, there are emotional truths. And we did the I am safe to feel one, so truth of safety. So this week I would like to do the truth of acceptance with you. So the core principle of truth of acceptance is all feelings are allowed. When all feelings are allowed, when you truly resonate with this truth, then it dissolves any resistance or denial. So this is the meditation that we're going to do for the rest of the evening. I would, of course, start with USF, OSF first, these two meditation, and then we'll go on to the release meditation. Okay. So let's